And take a roll call. Kent Bagger's here, Vince Frederick, Murray Smith. Here. Tommy Southern. Here. And Michael's not here.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a forum. We'll have a meeting. Receive comments from the public. I don't see any strange faces. So consider an act on request number 3, request for adjustments or relief from specific charges. None. Okay, the consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at the consent agenda?
Look good to me. Anybody have a problem with it? Questions? Otherwise, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Have a second.
Second.
Those in favor, aye. Okay, the regular agenda. The River Authority folks have asked me to move item 11 up to the start of the regular session so they can go on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So anyway, have at it.
Good evening, everyone. The monthly operating report starts on page 18 of your packet. 10th July was a typical month, hot, no major issues, no violations. Wanted to point out that the Allmuds wastewater treatment facility #1 evaluation meeting is going to be on September 1st at the Brady Library. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions. I asked you out there, what you said, we didn't know what the water demand is the last few days. I was curious on how much water.
I don't know,
Sell
but
it.
like I said this morning, we had a couple of plants that all the booster pumps that we can allow to run were running. Had to actually shut some of them off so the wells and the surface water can keep up with the pumps.
Looks like the weather and the forecast will have plenty of water ready here for this year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions? Have a good night. Thanks.
Have a good evening.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to number 8, reviewing the district's draft fiscal year operating budget and recommended water rate structure.
All right, these two documents, first page, just a cover sheet, kind of tells us how we got here. The main budget worksheet is this right here. What we did, last year is change the format up a little bit, adding some notes on items that are changing plus or minus 10%, over the previous year's budget. So a little bit of increase on the revenue side at the top. That's due to, our, revised fee schedule for new developers. So when they come in, they've got to put up drawings and we do inspections and reviews. And so we're modernizing that schedule because it was a little out of date. So that will create a little bit more revenue. On the expense side, we'll come over to the backside. That first shaded area is the summation of the backside. But before I do, I just wanted to point out down at the bottom of the first page, the Bear Branch line item there. We have put in your pledge. You pledged for that last year. So that was, we pledged that and agreed to do that last year. It wasn't in the budget last year. So there's that $20,000 pledge for that, the dam project engineering. On the backside, the engineering, the increasing for that a little bit. That's mainly for last year, you had decided to take out about $300,000 and put towards the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project in phase 3. And phase 3 is, the rest of the Woodlands has been doing for the last 5 years, sanitary sewer rehabilitation. Y'all put that on hold. You had about almost $1 million worth of work that has been deferred because of funding. So once you got a refund a year or so ago, you decided to put about $300,000 towards that. So that has not been engineered yet. So we put engineering in for next year. And then if we can get the engineering done, going down to the sewer repair line item, that's where that $300,000 is for the sanitary sewer project. So those are those two line items are kind of tied together. 5300.03 and 5300.09. All the rest of the expenses there are pretty much holding tight. Those were the two big moving items. And then the overall ending cash balance for this particular budget would be about $1 million, 980,000. You can see at the bottom. And that would create about 4.7 months of reserve. But this budget does not include that about $700,000 worth of deferred sanitary sewer, as we've deferred in the past, because if we took that off the top here, your reserves would go down to nothing. So we continue to defer that each year.
What are you talking about? Deferred 700,000.
Yes, yeah, this district.
I thought that was this 333.
No, that's just a portion of what started engineers had recommended that MUD 36 need to do. And the MUD did not have the money to do it.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, so when you got the refund back from SGRA a year or so ago, you agreed or decided to put about 300,000 of that towards doing at least the most critical pieces of that $1 million. That was the 300,000. So that was in your budget this year. It didn't get completed. But we got to go ahead and do the engineering this year and get the construction done if we can. And we've got the engineer looking at that right now.
Who's the engineer?
The engineer is Garber. They did the original evaluation and they've designed phase 1 and phase 2. So the rest of the MUDs will proceed with phase 3. They've already completed all phase 1 and phase 2. And we'll do the rest of phase 3 for all the other MUDs and the top most critical $300,000 for y'all as part of that. That's the plan right now.
So you already have experience from the other months.
Yes. Yeah, it's been going on for about 4 years now in 2 different phases. There's not as much left for the other MUDs in phase 3, but it was decided to do it over 3 years or 3 phases to spread the costs out because the numbers in the original recommendation from the engineers was more than each MUD to do in one given year. So it was spread out over 3 for the other MUDs. So as we go along, we're not forgetting it. If money comes available here, we'll try to tackle the next hierarchy of sewer issues that were in that original report. Right now, we'll just hit the top 300.
Any action required on this?
No action tonight. This is just for review. And if you have any comments, let us know. And then we'll be looking for approval at the next month's meeting.
Okay.
I got some comments. Anybody else want to comment? Go for it.
Okay.
I just want to point out that we got 3 items here, 09 and 14, or 12 and 14, that are budgeted for $700,000. And they're all sewer related, and I don't know which goes into which categories. And I have added up the last 4 years of actuals. And since we're supposedly doing this because we're an imminent danger of failure. But anyway, the last 4 years, if you look at the actuals and what's projected actual for this year, on 09, we've averaged $27,000. On 12, we've averaged 29,000. And on 14, we've averaged 26,000. So basically for the last 4 years, we've averaged $83,000 of these categories. And now have a budget here of 700,000. And I've got a real problem with somebody telling me that we've been able to operate with these kind of numbers for 4 years, and then all of a sudden we're gonna go up by 900%?
Just rolling the dice.
Well,
That's all it
hey,
comes down to. Just because you didn't need to
that's-
do it
that's-
last year,
that's-
it's not gonna
that-
this year.
well, but
That's the short side.
and we took a tour, and you can see we have about 900 acres. And so we took a tour last month, as you know, NAMI, and you weren't here, but you've been through it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we took a tour and to look at what MUD 36 consists of. And so anyway,
That's on the ditches.
well, this is all three of these categories. No, that we
Two
took
of
a
those-
tour, but it
two of
gives
those
people an idea of the
categories.
size we're working with. The size. That's something, that was one of the things, is the size of this mud is a little bit more than a square mile. And so we're talking about, we need to do $700,000 plus engineering of stuff. And I got a real problem where all that stuff is. So let me make a suggestion. If we've got this engineer and they've started, do you mind if myself, and we got 4 technical people here. And I know we can't have 3 of us, but 2 of us and get together and sit down with what they've generated up till now, have a separate meeting and look at their RFP and what they're proposing to do and how they concluded that. I mean, are they physically going down and pulling manhole covers?
They have already done that.
Well, but that's
That
what,
evaluation
Okay,
showed that you
but-
had $1 million worth of work to
That's-
do.
that's what
And
I'm,
you couldn't do it because you didn't have the
okay,
funds
but
in
can
place.
we end
So
up?
that has been deferred. That stuff is not getting any better. in
No, I'm
condition.
talking about, can we talk to
I
the engineer?
understand.
Can we talk to the engineer, that whoever's done it, and sit down and explain to us what they looked at and how they came up with these conclusions?
We can, happy to.
Good.
Happy to. And I'll send you the report as well.
I don't want to see the report. I want to look the guy in the eye. I'm serious.
That guy may not be there.
Well, that's exactly right.
Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't have any bearing on it.
Well, sure it does. The next
It's
guy
against-
the next guy that comes along, he may not agree with all that. No. Okay.
That's.
No, but I mean, you said you don't have any problem.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at the report. I want to sit down and probably go out in the field. And we'll wait until we don't want to do it right now, right? But maybe in October, November, when it's cool, a couple of us that could go out there and actually look at,
Crawl in the sewer line,
absolutely, and I've done it.
you crawl in the sanitary. sewer.
Well, not in sanitary, but I've
That's
done,
what we're talking about.
well, that's fine. But they haven't crawled up there. Have they?
Absolutely. They put cameras in there.
Well, they haven't crawled up there, but have they had any manpower crawl up there? Or we don't have any big ones. See, that's the point.
What is the point?
The point is we don't have any big sewer lines.
Yeah, I think we could probably, have a committee appointed. You're the president, so if you want to appoint a committee of 2 folks, and then we can just probably just kind of move on from the board meeting and cover that at y'all's
Yeah,
separate. meeting.
separate.
That's fine. So anyway, does anybody else?
I'll be happy to.
Good. So now,
And keep in mind, this is a planning tool based on the recommendations that the engineers have given and the work that we think may happen. It doesn't mean that we're going to absolutely do each piece of this, but this is based on the planning tool that we
no,
have
I understand.
at this time. So
No, but the main thing is I don't want to put this in the budget and then, and then all of a sudden find out 2 months later that there's somebody out there with a bunch of equipment and working on stuff. See, and I think we discussed this, is we don't have any big stuff. 8-inch lines is the biggest we got,
it's still right.
but you can dig them up from the surface. It's not like the river authority's got lines 20 feet underground and they got a tunnel to fix them and,
Sure, that's what this is.
okay.
Fixed lines.
Yeah, let's take it offline and
But anyway,
schedule a meeting.
Yeah.
so we'll have a meeting and
It gets cooler.
yeah. Definitely.
Sounds good.
Good. Okay, that was my only comments. Does anybody? And now we're going to recommend that the water and sewer rate stays the same.
Yes, at this time.
Now back to item 9, consider acting on the county appraisal district's fiscal year 19 or 2026-27 budget.
Last time I brought to you that the appraisal district had their proposed budget ready. It's out on the Google Drive. They had it up at 5.51%. They were asked to review it. They got it down to 2.83. They had 18 FTEs in there. Now it's down to 16. And no merit
18
raise.
was,
Full-time.
Excuse me,
oh, full-time employee.
full-time employees. It was $20 million. Now it's $19 million in your savings, which is not much. It's a whole $20.13 on the lower amounts.
So what's our the total appraisal district fee? Where is it on our line item budget?
It's on the Google Drive. It's not
No, but
in there. It's not, you pay it out of your debt service.
we paid out of our debt service. But I mean, it's appraisal district fee is, well, you got 20 people for the whole county and all these taxing authorities and everything, so.
Yeah, it's
All right.
based on your levy. So the less you levy, which y'all obviously levy very little, so your cost and therefore your savings are,
Microscopic.
yeah.
But our cost is-
Immaterial, yeah.
Yeah, our cost is material from the appraisal district. Got it. Okay, nothing to act on there. Receive the financials advisor's recommendations concerning the district's tax rate.
Hey, good evening. Should have on page 15, starts with the letter, the cover letter. And just to remind you, the tax rate setting process is a two-step process. So all you're doing today is authorizing publication of the total tax rate. Next month, you'll hold a public hearing and then you'll adopt and levy the tax rate, breaking it out between maintenance and operations and debt service taxes. Keeping in mind, you want to publish the highest rate you'll consider because you can always come down from that next month without, otherwise you have to republish and postpone the month. So all that being said, if you look at the cover letter, assumption number 1, your 2026 net taxable value, that's as of January 1, came in just over 812 million. That's a 4.07% increase over last year's 780.7 million. Last year, you levied 0.011 cents for debt. If you go to the next page, this is your outstanding debt service cash flow. And Nami, real quick, I'll run down each column since this is, I think, the first time you're seeing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is your outstanding debt. The first column, remember you're collecting taxes in arrears. So that first line, 26, is from last year's levy. You're just collecting taxes on it in 26. Your fund balance, your debt service fund balance as of June 30 is that first line. The next column, we assume interest earnings of 2% on those funds. Moving over the next populated column, it's your prior year AV, your assessed value. So you can see that first line is last year's value at 780.7 million, followed by this year's 812.4 million. Next column is just that percentage growth. Next column is the necessary tax rate to pay your outstanding principal and interest, which is just over a penny, so 0.0105. Tax collections, assuming 98% collections on that value at the 0.0105 cents. Total funds available, which would just be your collections plus your fund balance. Current debt service and total debt service are the same because we're not recommending any future bonds. So your debt service is just your outstanding and principal interest on bonds that are currently outstanding. Second to right column, your ending fund balance year over year after you make payment, and then your debt service coverage all the way to the right. TCEQ requires we maintain a minimum of 25% of your following year's debt service. So it's just to show you that you're good there. And then if you go to the next page with all the boxes, this is probably some of the more informative information for you. Top box with respect to maintenance and operations. Last year, you levied 0.0314 cents, and that generated 240,000. This year's proposed rate, should you consider it, 0.03142. And Jeannie informed me that the one needs to be a 0 to keep us under the threshold of the 3.5%. And I'll talk about that in just a second, but that'll generate 250,000. Your parity rate, if you want to raise the same number of dollars you did last year, that's the 3.0173. Currently, you need roughly 9.5 cents based on your budget. You're authorized to go up to 25, and then the value of a penny in your district is just under 80,000. Now, with respect to the average tax bill in that next box in the middle, last year's average homestead, so it's all the homesteaded values. It's an average of those homesteaded values, 397,573, meaning that the average tax bill, $169. This year's average homestead actually went up to 416,194, meaning that at this recommended tax rate, you'd be at 174 or a $5 increase, which is 3.50%. And that 3.50% is specific because in the bottom box, you see in the middle where it says type of district, Senate Bill 2 in 2019 designated 3 classifications for districts. There is a developing district, so one that is currently funding project infrastructure cost, developed district, which is what you are, and then there's a low tax rate district. So if your M&O rate, I believe, is below 2 cents, you could qualify as that. And all that means is as a developed district, if you go above the 3.5% increase on your average tax bill, then you're forced to go to a rollback election to the residents in order to determine whether or not you could go to that rate. And if you look on the bottom box, last line, your 2026 M&O rollback rate, 3.1045 cents. And we are above that. So we want to make sure that we stay below the rollback rate. And what I'm comparing that to, the bottom line is that second line in the top box, the proposed M&O rate of 3.1421. And so all that being said, our recommendation would be to publish 0.041920, which would put you right at the 3.5% threshold without going over. And that would be 3.1420 cents for M&O and 0.0105 for debt.
Any questions?
Sounds good.
So the tax rate's gonna be 0.31420.
Right.
Correct.
That's what's gonna be published.
And that's what we're gonna show.
Yeah, you have the decision.
Or do we need, we had.
You're authorizing-
We don't do it tonight.
Yeah, you're
tonight
authorizing
it's
just to
published.
publish it.
Oh, so this is published and then we,
Right, you'll have your public hearing next month.
Motion to publish as such.
have a second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
This is a comment I was noticing that Bud 6 ended up with, I guess they had the Rich Carlton condo project must have hit the tax rules.
No, it's a
They had 200.
condo on Waterway that Prince is in 67.
So it's condo.
Yeah, the new water condos on the Waterway.
Oh, yeah, you're right there.
Oh, okay.
That-
So the 6,
Prince
that,
is in 67.
oh, I see.
It hadn't hit yet.
It had, yeah, so they get a
It's
big,
gonna,
they got a big bonus coming up too.
yeah,
Oh, county does.
sure. Y'all need a condo coming in is what you need.
No, thanks.
Well, value wise.
Yeah, okay, then we'll take that.
Well, we got a little commercial to help us out over there. We're no bigger than we are, at least, we got a few office buildings of moderate size. Okay. Well, act on this,
Still defer, that's still with the trustees.
oh. See the attorney's report.
Just a reminder, if you haven't completed your cyber and AI deadlines this month. So that's all I've got on the attorney's report.
Okay, 14, I don't know exactly. Consider an act on the appointment of representatives and an alternate to serve as on the community working group. Somebody want to tell us what the community working group is?
Sure. So as part of the infrastructure renewal campaign that was created a few years ago, the community working group was developed out of that. It's made up of, and that was out of the public education committee, through the trustees. Where it started was basically to create a group to help communicate with the consumers and residents on all the infrastructure changes that might be going on with your water line renewal and the sewer plant, whatever happens with that, and any other, big projects. And so there was a website that was created, about that, Water Renewal of Woodlands. And then also as part of that campaign, there was this community working group that was created. And it was made up of a member of each MUD director, a member of the village associations, some community leaders, both in the business side. You had the township member, there was SGA member, Hughes is a member as well. And so the idea is that the group the consultants in the group would share information about these projects. Those people would go and engage with their neighbors and help educate and share information, gather any feedback that they're hearing from their neighbors and residents, and bring that back to the CWG. And then when we were building content on what to put on the website and other things that would go out, we would kind of have that information to help bridge the gap in communication so that we could, build that communication stream. So the CWG has been on hold a little bit the last few months. We haven't met in a few months, just because kind of the next big step to bring to them is a lot more information on the water line renewal, the tier 1 projects, and then whatever happens with the treatment plant. So in the meantime, we've been educating folks on, what's going on with the dam, all of the ditch work that we've been doing across the Woodlands, and a lot of the other SGRA R&R projects that you've seen. So that we would want a member that, is willing to attend. Is probably, once we get up and running, they were usually about every 6 to 9 weeks, something like that. Every roughly 2 months ish is when we were meeting, when we were really going. And then someone that, wants to truly engage and be a part of the process. It's not just kind of a sit and listen. It's more of a sit, listen, and then engage with your neighbors actively to share that information and bring information back. So Sharon was, I think, the lead, and I don't recall who was the backup.
Peter.
Oh, Peter was the backup. So we have no representation at this point.
Well, Vince is on the Groversville Village and sees a lot of people periodically, and I think at least if you would volunteer.
I'll volunteer.
You had this cute. Let me see if I can raise
Somebody who has interest.
Oh, Andrew.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean,
I'm lacking that.
yeah.
That's fine.
Michael could be the backup. He's very good with communicating.
All right.
Yeah, they're both new, so they'll at least be here 4 years, right? So that's a good idea. Yeah, Michael and Nami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, who wants to be the lead if you're not as gung-ho? Do you want to be the lead?
Get Michael.
Michael be the.
Oh, Michael.
I have the engineering. I'm on the engineering.
You're on the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Control.
You've been told on other ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can do
The
this.
bad news
Take one
is
for the team.
when
Next
you
time,
prepare-
When you don't show up at a meeting, you get voluntold.
That works just fine.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay, 15, receive and act on the general manager's report.
All right, report starts on page 50. As you can see there, there's 201 active new development and redevelopment projects. You'll have one new and one redevelopment, or actually 11, two new and 9 redevelopment in 36. We had 28 inspections on those types of projects and about 1,800 work orders throughout the month, throughout the Woodlands. On page 52, 53, and 54, you can kind of see a lot of the typical ditch work that we've been doing throughout the Woodlands. As we mentioned last year, you don't have a whole lot of ditch work to really deal with. And we did a tour, and as Kit mentioned, and when we saw, your ditches, because of the work you did over the years, looks really good.
Plus, you all did some significant brush work on the
That's right.
cutting back.
That you budgeted for this year. So ditches are looking really good, 36, but this is
Right.
the
I mud 6 ditch, they finished up across that we looked at,
loggers home.
Loggers Home. Looks, I saw you had pictures of it. Looks good.
What do you think? Yeah.
Well, they can finally get a mower down there now.
Yep.
Of
Absolutely.
course, nothing's grown
No.
to mow in the last month, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of that, they tied a utility vehicle to a tree over there about 2 weeks ago. I don't know who the contractor is, and I don't know where they forgot it. It's right there where you remember that bridge we stopped at and spin over there, tied to a tree with a big chain on it.
Like
It's a utility, it's a utility vehicle, has a
Like a
little
Gator?
bed on, yeah, Gator,
Okay,
that's the number.
really, okay.
But anyway, I just thought
That one, not that much, but.
no, so I don't know, I assumed that maybe they were using it and somebody changed it. It was over there a couple
Lucky
of,
they're in the woodlands.
well,
It
they,
would have been long gone.
Yeah, chain's not gonna stop.
Yeah, they can come.
well,
Shame.
I will,
they take a blowtorch to get it. It's a big chain,
I
but,
will look it up. I will look and see if we can find out whose that was.
okay,
It was
well, I
one-
assume it was them because they've been out of there in a couple of weeks, but it was sitting out there.
I'll look at it.
But anyway, if you need one, I know where.
I was gonna say, I got bolt cutters if you're.
If Woodlands Water needs one, I got a deal for you.
We do have a couple employee anniversaries, 10 and 6 years, Jonathan and Tori. We included some Google reviews that came in that were stellar. Really appreciate that. And then lastly, I did want to point out on page 34. This is something we've talked about in the past. Last week, we received the final version, the votable version of the GRP's global amendment. And so there's not an agenda item for us to discuss this tonight, but I wanted to get it in your hands because there will be discussion needed on that over the next couple months. And then as the letter says, the vote needs to go in by December. So the way that would work is the MUDs would need to give indication to the Woodlands Division, Chris, on how to vote or not vote or whatever the MUDs want to do on that. So can't talk about it tonight, but did want to get it in your hands as soon as I could. So that's there. And with that, kick it to John.
Page 63 starts your communications report. But before we get into that, we're winding down our third quarter focus area in water conservation. So I brought you an celebratory gift here at Woodlands Water, 5-minute shower timer. But somebody didn't take theirs from last round.
Believe that.
We had a previous director who was in the name. He said that 5 minutes is luxurious. Saying. We hand these out, our 5th grade water education program, which is now going to go to all 5th graders in history in our jurisdiction, after a successful pilot this last spring. So they have part of that is they have a take-home conservation kit they implement with their parents. And these are in there, and we hand them out at outreach events too. All right, we have on 63 a QR code to our newest video, Where Does Your Water Come From? So it's an animated 2.5-minute video on Source to Tap. So check that out. And it's on our homepage currently. Wise Guys is going to be on the next bill as a bill ad. On 64, you've got a QR code there. If you're not signed on to Woodlands Water Weekly, really encourage you to do so. Good information there. It's a weekly lawnmower guide. Lots of other good information. It gives you a good sense of kind of the range of things we're communicating on. 65, you see our 6 social media platforms there. Just a reminder, if you're on our social media and you see some of our material, please like us and share us. It really helps us out as far as expanding reach. And finally, on page 66, we have an in-person outreach calendar. Wanted to highlight that the USGS will be here again in September to present on the state of our aquifers. They've been doing that annually for some time now. September 24th, you can attend that in person at Hardin or live via Zoom from home. We'll have a recording available afterwards as well. I'll remind you as we get closer to that date about that and how to plug into it. Any questions?
John?
All right,
Thank you, John. I was going to mention, anybody got involved in that Ted Lasso program? My wife just got me started. I started about the 3rd episode. It's funny about the showers. You remember that? anyway, he goes to England and he takes over the soccer team. The showers just dribble out a little bit. So the next, he takes care of that. And the next episode, the showers are just pouring. Anyway, it just reminded me that how the shower issue is interesting.
If you turn the side, you have a limited show.
There you go. Stick it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. See the Woodlands Water Trustees report, and I just recommend everybody watch the video. If you're interested, rather than take any time up here. We need a closed session, closed session. 15, reconvene. Okay,
That's number 19 is a
19
leftover
adjourn.
from last time.
Huh?
That's left over from last time.
Oh, yeah, you talking about the,
When we went for a trip.
yeah. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second.
Always in order.